Hello everyone, Kaoz here, and welcome to another Oldschool Runescape video. I thought we were done with super difficult challenges after Radiant Oathplate through Yama contracts, at least for a while. But it looks like Jagex keeps raising the bar for high level content with the addition of the Doom of Mokhaiotl. The first of its kind Delve boss in OSRS has you daring yourself to more punishing levels, all for great rewards. And today, I will guide you through your first KC, as well as every mechanic you need to watch out for. Boys and girls, if you find this video useful, consider hitting the subscribe button with notifications on, drop a fat like, and join our Discord server with the link in the description to flex your expensive drops and to play with me and our amazing community. Two quick things before we start. First, we will talk about yesterday's changes to the Doom of Mokhaiotl and to tell you when they are important, and I will also have a little segment before the mechanics to quickly talk about future changes Jagex wants to implement. I'm not a fan of making day one guides because things can change dramatically over the first couple of days, and this boss is a living proof of that. You can always count on these guides to have the most up-to-date information to continue being relevant for weeks, months, or even years to come. Second, all the footage you're about to watch was done with pretty much best in slot gear, and I will show you minimum and recommended setups as well in case you don't have expensive weapons and armor, and what to upgrade first so you can defeat the Doom of Mokhaiotl faster with each gear improvement. We will look at requirements, levels, how to get there, and extra tips for every single floor. We are in for quite the encounter, so grab your favorite drink and snack, and let's begin. For the uninitiated, the Doom of Mokhaiotl is the first boss of its kind in Oldschool Runescape, and it has a brand new difficulty system called Delve. Defeat the boss once, and it will dig deeper into its burrow, and you can either claim the items it left behind, or keep chasing after it for more loot and higher chances at uniques. Every time you do this though, difficulty will increase, and even the same mechanics will have more juice added to them. This is the high risk versus high reward factor the high level community has been asking for a long time, and it's finally here to satisfy those who are ready to risk it all. Mechanics keep evolving up to a maximum of 8 levels, and for the true gamers out there, you can keep going until you either claim your loot or run out of supplies and die. Keep in mind that mechanics won't change after level 8, and instead, mistakes are more heavily punished and you have less room to mess up. At the time of scripting this video, the deepest delve reached by a player is 20, and since you can pretty much stay here indefinitely as long as you can manage supplies, it's only a matter of time until we see someone like Port Khazard reaching delve 50 or something crazy like that. The only hard requirement you need to fight the Doom of Mokhaiotl is completion of the final Dawn quest. For this, you need the Heart of Darkness, the Perilous Moons, and all of their prerequisite quests and skill requirements. For budget gear, we will be using Demon Bane weapons, and this requires completion of the quest The Wild Gothic Sleeps. Reading Duradel's journal will give you the knowledge you need to create these weapons with a Tormented Synapse. Another quest I recommend is a Kingdom Divided, which grants access to resurrection spells. As most of you know, thralls are very commonly brought to many PvM encounters, especially where you don't need the standard, ancient, or lunar spellbook for special mechanics. Not a quest requirement, but not an item we take either. If you're getting into the Doom of Mokhaiotl, you definitely have what it takes to defeat Yama. Aim for the Rite of Vile Transference for that double death charge spell, since we will be killing a lot of things. In terms of levels, I wouldn't really do this with anything under base level 80s in combat, especially melee and ranged. With magic you can get away with as little as 44, but let's be real, you will probably have a much higher level if you want to get into this boss. Make sure you have at least a 74 prayer and rigor unlocked, and 75 agility to use a shortcut on your way to the boss. This can be boosted with a Summer Pie if you are at least a level 70. Just like many of my boss videos, especially high level ones, to have a much better chance at your first level 8 completions, I would be more comfortable with base level in 95s. Your prayer level doesn't really matter too much, but remember that the higher the level, the more your prayer restoration potions will heal. We will now look at the minimum, recommended, and the max gear setups. Just like most of my late and end game bossing videos, remember that you can technically do the boss with some relatively cheap gear, but you will deal less damage overall and the fight will go on for longer. I will tell which items are crucial to upgrade if you start making money for better items. Being a demon boss, the only expensive item you need is a Scorching Bow. Tormented Synapses are not super expensive nowadays, and you absolutely need at least one Demon Bane weapon for one mechanic. For the other styles, you can bring Arclight, Darklight, or even Silverlight for melee, and a Skull Scepter or Slayer Staff to autocast the Demon Bane spells. Take a Void with you, and customize your loadout with a good mix of brews, restores, and ranging potions. Don't forget Elite Void, one of the Nagwa weapons, Anti-Venom, and Emergency Teleport. The recommended setup is not that much different. This time we are bringing the maracas with some melee strength increasing items, and if you have more cash, you should start saving up for a Zerite crossbow and then the powerful Twisted Bow. For max gear, we are bringing all the heavy hitters. Upgrade to Masori and Twisted Bow, keep all the Demon Bane weapons, and bring a 4-way melee switch for massive damage for one of the mechanics. You don't need a scythe, so stick to the maracas and bring potions according to your progress. The better you get, the less brews you'll need, and that space will be used for more prayer restoration potions to stay there for longer. We have 2 ways to get to the ruins in the Tlali forest. Use a Quetzal whistle to teleport to the town west to where there's a bank, or if you activated the statue east of the entrance, use a second to last the teleport on your pendant of aids. We are going to the center of the forest to the platform you activated during the final town quest to go inside. Once there, search the chests near the platform for 2 teleporters. Head outside and then back in, and right-click place on one of the teleporters. Place the second one as far away as possible since there's a limit to it, and the next time you come back down, you will be automatically teleported near the entrance. I recommend 75 agility to use a shortcut on your way to the final room, and the lobby before the Doom of Mokhaiotl can be found in this part of the dungeon, which you also visited during the quest. For those of you who can splurge a little bit on teleport items, you can use Mokhaiotl waystones to be teleported near the shortcut, saving quite a bit of time. The last thing we will talk about before mechanics are Runelite plugins I recommend. And being brand new, there's obviously no Mokhaiotl specific plugins, nor do I think there will ever be. I personally only use NPC indicators to tag the boss and the larvae, and if you use better NPC highlight, the ID on screen will mark the earthen shield so you're correctly protected. Other than this, use any standard PVM plugins you feel comfy with. We'll go over one final segment before the mechanics, and if you're watching this video in the future, here's a quick list of things you need to watch out for, as Jagex still has a few changes they want to implement to the Doom of Mokhaiotl. When they go live, I will leave a pinned comment down below. They want to make a Colosseum-like chest mechanic when you decide you are done with a challenge. When you claim your loot, a chest will appear for you to get your items, instead of grabbing them directly from the interface. When you're on Delve level 8 and beyond, they want to make it so permanent rocks don't drop on you when inside the earthen shield. So as long as you walk along with it, you won't have to worry about falling debris. Clue hunters rejoice, elite clues are coming to the Doom of Mokhaiotl, a drop table. I wonder if they will have a chance to appear on every floor, becoming more common as you go on, or if you can get it past a certain floor at a flat rate. Overall, click boxes are improving so we have less accidental clicks when fighting the boss, and they are also fixing the Eye of the Ajax special attack, which currently creates an obscenely large hitbox. And speaking of, the new weapon coming from the boss can be used to one-shot the Mage Grubs. The most important change in my opinion is that the center tile of the earthen shield will clear acid, giving you some room to move around on deeper levels. We won't be able to regenerate special attack in between floors, so abuse this while you can. And instead of triple larvae spawn, a big one will appear instead to keep deeper levels more manageable. Okay, time to get into the mechanics, and just like Nex or Phosani, we will cover every single interaction and tell you how they evolve over time. This feels like the Colosseum, where the first few floors may feel easy, and the difficulty spikes up dramatically around floors 5 and 6. If the guide feels overwhelming, learn all the mechanics and then give it a try, because it's just one of those things you have to do yourself in order to actually feel the difference, and it's not an encounter like Vorkath that is going to click in just a few KC. I will go over new mechanics in greater detail first, and then show you how they change the deeper you go. The only thing to note is that if you have a Zerite crossbow, start every floor with a special, and then cast a Death Charge every time you can. Let's first go over basic attacks. If you are within melee distance, the Doom will lick you, and I personally feel like this is fairly accurate. This is why we do the boss with range, because melee kills will be a little trickier due to the timing. For the first floor, the Doom will only use ranged and mage projectiles, which will be green and blue respectively, and these will be pretty slow at first. If you have done the Leviathan at least for a few KC, these colors should be pretty familiar. When the boss throws a rock in the air, it will shatter after a few seconds, and this will deactivate your prayers. After 2 ticks, a bunch of rock particles will fall on the ground, and you need to get away from the shadows to avoid damage. When it explodes, it will throw a projectile, and if the rock was green, you need to protect from ranged. Of course, if it was blue, you need to protect from magic. Upon detonation, your character location will be where a rock will stay throughout the remainder of the floor. The next mechanic has a larvae spawning around the arena and will slowly make their way to the Mokhaiotl. For floors 1, 2, and 3, they will have either no protection prayers or protect against just a single style. We bring our Demon Bane weapons because they will always one-shot them, and if you're not using these, you need to attack them twice, and you can do so without the attack delay. If killing them with melee, you need to get away because they damage a 3x3 area around them. If they explode next to the Mokhaiotl, they will damage it instead of you. The last thing to note is that if you don't kill them in time, they will heal the boss and damage you a little bit in the process. In early floors, this is not a big deal, but at deeper levels, the chip damage will be noticeable. Up next we have the charge attack. On every floor, you will notice the boss protecting against ranged and magic, and a yellow bar on top of it. You need to deal damage with melee to interrupt it, because if the yellow bar fills up, it will deal 60 damage on floors 1, 2, and 3. This one sounds pretty simple, but you will need to juggle other mechanics on later floors. Interestingly enough, if you kill the boss during this mechanic without the additional damage we will look at next, sometimes it will throw holy water around the arena, and this will both heal you and clear acid around the arena, but more on that later. We bring melee switches because there's a special mechanic when the boss is charging up. Other than interrupting it and dealing damage, the Doom will take additional hits which equal to a fifth of your gear's melee strength. This is why you shouldn't really bring combat potions, pray piety, or bring a void melee helmet for this mechanic. The reason why multi-hit splat weapons like a scythe, the maracas, or the Nagua weapons are so important is because you will deal extra damage based off every hit. The last mechanic you will encounter in floor 1, that will happen on every floor, is that if you take long enough to defeat the boss, it will summon earthen pillars around the arena. After about 2 or 3 basic attacks or rock attacks, it will slam the ground and damage every tile on the arena, and the number of slams goes up according to the level you are at. In floors 1 and 2, it will only do 1 slam and continue with the other mechanics until you defeat it. To avoid this, you need to destroy 2 of the rock pillars. The first one will be the destination, and the second one will be the starting location. This will create a path for an earthen shield, and staying inside the 3x3 area will protect you from the slam. It is recommended to shoot pillars far away from each other for the highest duration possible, and make sure you have a clear path between them. Keep in mind that the orb will move diagonally first and then straight. This to avoid pathing through the boss, rocks, or acid on the ground. Floor 2 doesn't have any new mechanics for us other than the Doom being able to attack with melee represented by a red projectile. The other only thing that will change on every floor is that the Mokhaiotl will have more HP. But oddly enough, offensive and defensive stats don't change. When a rock detonates, it will launch 2 projectiles instead of 1, and these are always opposite of the rock's color. Green rock will be range mage, and the blue rock will be mage range. Aside from this, basic attacks have the same speed, and the larvae, the charge attack, and shockwave attacks don't change. Floor 3 brings 2 new challenges. The first one is that the Doom will occasionally throw acid around when hit if not on the shield or Lambo faces. Even your thrall can trigger this mechanic, so if you want less acid, you can avoid bringing thralls when learning. If you step on the acid, you will be venomed and dealt rapid damage. This is why we bring an extended anti-venom in case you need to step on them for just a little bit. The acid will stay on the ground for floors 3, 4, and 5. There's a new mechanic called the shield phase. Keep in mind that there's a difference between the charge attack, for which you need to hit it with melee, but it will still charge a deadly attack. The reason why we need Demon Bane weapons is to interrupt it, and whenever you hit it, the shield will go down slowly. To make this faster, wait for the larvae to go near the boss, and killing them in the radius will deal 100 shield damage. This dramatically speeds up this mechanic. Remember that if they die near it, they will damage the boss instead of you. When the shield reaches 0, the fight will continue as normal. Starting floor 3, basic attack projectiles will be 1 tick faster, the projectiles coming from the rock explosions will also be quicker, and you will need to protect against the 2 slams with the earthen shield. So also remember to hit the 2 earthen pillars away from each other to have more protection time. Floor 4 doesn't have any new mechanics, but has some important changes for existing ones. From here on out, larvae will now protect against the 2 attack styles, and you need to kill them with either melee, ranged, or magic. The other is that rock explosions will now launch 3 projectiles instead of 2 coming at you faster, and they will once again alternate. If green, it will be range mage range, and if blue, it will be mage range mage. This of course will deactivate your prayer upon detonation like before. The final thing to note is that if you don't interrupt the boss during the charge attack, it will start dealing 80 damage instead of 60. Aside from this, basic attacks will have the same speed, you will still need to protect against the 2 slams with Earthen Shield, and the asset will remain on the ground. If you're comfortable with floor 3, the 4th one doesn't really change a lot and will keep giving you confidence to go to deeper levels. We have a new mechanic on floor 5, and after the shield special where you need to make a larvae explode near the boss, it will burrow itself on the ground and turn into Lightning McQueen. After a few ticks, an eye will appear a few tiles behind you, and the Doom will dash towards this location, destroying any rocks in his path. It will only do this twice on floor 5, and this is to prepare you for something more dangerous in later floors. A big tip that has made me more comfortable for deeper clears is that if you stand in line with the Doom's 5x5 hitbox, the landing location will always go on a straight line. You need to hit it every few ticks, because it will also be charging on this phase, and if you don't interrupt it, it's going to deal massive damage. It's worth noting that you are 100% accurate while burrowed, so this is where Void shines because of the higher max hit. If you take long enough to defeat the boss, this can happen multiple times per floor, but will only dash twice every time this happens on floor 5. Other noteworthy changes are that basic attacks will be 1 tick faster, reaching you in just 4 ticks, including the ones from the rock explosions. And that will you now have to protect against the 3 slams during the Earthen Shield sphere, making it even more important to pop the pillars as far away from each other for maximum protection. You need to be extremely comfortable with floor 5 and moving on, because things get even more convoluted. The first thing you'll notice down in floor 6 is that there's no more acid on the arena, but this is the last time you will see every tile free of hazards. Just like before, the Doom will spit on the floor every time you or your thrall hit it, so if you want an easier time, either don't summon one, or do so after around 30 or 40% of the fight. The final new mechanic we have starting floor 6 and deeper is for the Lambo special. The Doom will slam the ground after it reaches its destination a total of 3 times, and while doing so, it will launch up to 3 basic attack projectiles, so you need to pray correctly as you find a safe spot. Every time this happens, you need to hide behind the rocks it left behind when the mechanic started. The slam will destroy any rocks it finds in its path, and only the rocks behind other rocks will be safe from the shockwave. After the first and the second ones, make sure that the Doom does not dash through existing rocks on the arena, so you have a few safe spots. If you don't do this or have no more safe spots, you will just have to tank the damage and continue. Floor 6 is virtually identical to floor 5 aside from the changes to the Lambo special. Basic attacks from the Doom and exploring rocks travel at the same speed, larvae will continue to protect against the 2 styles, the shield charge and the melee punish don't change, and you will still need to protect against the 3 slams for the Earthen Shield phase. The only worrying part is that if you don't interrupt the boss during the charge or the shield mechanic, it will deal 99 damage instead of 80. You can survive if you are overhealed, but the chances of this are relatively low. This is where, despite the lack of massive changes, new mechanics to the Lambo special may feel a little overwhelming at first, but nothing you can't handle. Floor 7 doesn't have any mechanical changes, but a lot of what we have been dealing with becomes a little bit more convoluted. Every time larvae fall from the ceiling outside the shield special, they will appear in batches of 2, both the same color. This is also the first and only time in which the Mokhaiotl will do 4 slams during the Earthen Shield phase instead of 3, making it even more important to space the pillars out properly. When you reach floor 8, things get turned up to an 11, and you will fight the boss at its full potential. The first important change is that for the rock throwing special, the Doom will launch 2 rocks instead of 1. This means that not only will it leave rocks on the ground which push and damage you if you don't move away, but a whopping 6 projectiles will come at you lightning fast. The good thing about it is that both will be the same color, meaning that when you move to a safe location and upon explosion, if green, you will need to pray range mage range, range mage range, and if blue, it will be mage range mage, mage range mage. The last meaningful change is that the larvae will now appear in batches of 3. So if you're lucky, you can line this up with the shield special and make 3 of them explode near the boss for extremely quick damage. Last but not least, from here on out, you will always need to protect against the 5 slams during the Earthen Shield mechanic. You want to make sure to deal as much damage as possible to avoid this, because juggling both the earthen shield and the double rocks falling along the 6 projectiles is one of the hardest things I've had to do in recent memory. Other than this, basic attacks, charge, melee punish, shield, and Lambo mechanics don't change. If you're good enough or you can keep on going, anything after Delve level 8 will remain the same mechanics-wise. However, mistakes will be more punishing, and you will have less rocks to safe spot the shockwaves for the Lambo phase. This of course means that you will keep earning loot at the drop rate chances for floor 8, meaning that you will get better items as well as bigger chances at uniques. I was surprised when I was able to clear Delve level 9 on my first time being there, however I got demolished on floor 10, which is indication that things don't really change that much, and that as long as you don't take a lot of damage, you may continue until you run out of prayer restoration potions. In terms of loot, I would say that if you are a late game player just trying out the first few floors, or even an Ironman wanting to farm demonic tiers, claiming after every few levels could earn you a little bit of profit. For a lot of endgame players like myself though, this could potentially be the first boss where you are losing money 100% of the time. This because I would honestly only claim and leave if I see one of the expensive uniques on screen. Anything other than this, I will continue my run, potentially making it to deeper levels. Non-important uniques are Mokhaiotl Waystones and the demonic tiers. And the things we are looking for in order of importance are Avernic Threads, the new best in slot boots, the Mokhaiotl Cloth, which you can combine with a Tormented Bracelet to make the Confliction Gauntlets, which are the new best in slot magic gloves in the game. And of course the Eye of the Ayak, a new 3-tick powered wand. Other than this, you have the pet, which you can only get starting after Delve level 6. So boys and girls, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you enjoyed and you learned something useful. If you did, tell me what you think of the Doom of Mokhaiotl and if you plan on trying it soon. And if you include the term RSN and your username in your comment, you'll be entered in our weekly bond giveaway, for which we will pick a winner on Friday's stream. A massive thank you to all the people you see on screen for supporting the channel with a monetary subscription. My family and I cannot thank you enough for it, and it goes a long way to let me continue bringing quality videos for you guys. If you like what I do here, click the join button below to see all the cool perks you can get in the videos, in the live streams, and of course in the Discord for a monthly fee. In the next one, we will take a look at an updated AFK activities video, since the last one I did was all the way back in 2024, and I think it is time for some new content. For now, I hope you have an amazing day, have an amazing week, and I will see you then. Peace.